Hello disciples, Donkey here, and today we are going over my Wolverine Strand Titan build. Spoiler alert for those of you who have not completed the campaign or done anything in Lightfall since release yesterday. This is your only warning. So, I gotta say, I had a lot of doubts going into Lightfall with the Strand Titan, and of course, all of the community was up in arms about it, but I kind of like it. Yes, it is a roaming super, and you punch all the red bars, but there's a little spice to keep you coming back for more. This video will be a little bit different from my other builds because we have an entirely new build crafting system to go over. Thankfully, it is pretty simplified, and I will do my best to explain it quickly. So here is the Strand build. Of course, your super is Blade Fury. Your abilities will be Frenzy Blade and Threadling Grenade. For your aspects, use both Into the Fray and Drenger's Lash. Drenger's Lash. The Lash aspect. Our fragments are Thread of Mind, Fury, and Finality. Moving on to the armor mods, for our helmet, use Ashes to Assets, Hands-On, and Siphon. The arms will have Momentum Transfer, Impact Induction, and Heavy-Handed. The chest piece has Reserves, Resistance, and Emergency Reinforcement. Our leg armor, which is also our exotic, will have Innervation, Invigoration, and Surge. Lastly, the class item has Bomber, Outreach, and Distribution. My artifact mods really don't apply here, but you can see them on screen and pause the video if you would like. The weapons I am using, which are also what I used for the campaign, are Witherhoard, Zaoli's Bane, and Cry Mutiny. Overall, I think this build allows for some up-close damage and a fair amount of ability recharge, all while providing a good bit of damage resistance. So let me quickly explain the new build crafting and mod changes. Overall, Bungie got rid of Charged with Light and Elemental Well mods. Now everything falls under the term Armor Charges. Simply pick up an Orb of Power on the ground, and when doing so, you will see a small blue box off to the left indicating you have one stack. Mods that use this function have yellow, blue, and green colors. Yellow mods consume all stacks of armor charges when applied. Blue mods have a decaying factor, or timer for short, and green mods affect the armor charge ability, like getting extra stacks. For example, you can get a kill with your melee to make an Orb of Power. Pick it up for one armor charge stack, and then if you have a surge mod, like our solar one, it will give a damage buff for a few seconds. Think of it like Font of Might when you picked up an Elemental Well. Also, all of the mods no longer have an energy type associated with it, so that frees up a lot of customization. Lastly, most of our individual weapon-specific mods, like Hand Cannon Loader, have been bunched up into subclass-specific mods. So instead of Shotgun Reserves, you now have Solar, Arc, and Void Reserves. I spent about an hour doing nothing but going over mods and figuring out the new system. I think it is a nice change to make things more simple and straightforward. You can also navigate tabs to create loadouts and manage all of your mods in one easy-to-use space. Well, okay, I lied. That definitely took a lot longer to explain than I had hoped for, and for that I'm sorry. But anyway, let's explain the build. To start off, your melee, which has 3 charges, will lunge, target onto enemies, and create a tangle when killed. Tangles can be picked up and thrown for damage, or shot at and destroyed. Remember that there is a cooldown for creating tangles. This pairs nicely with our fragment, Thread of Fury, which will give us melee energy back from simply damaging enemies with a tangle, and destroying a tangle will give us Woven Mail thanks to our aspect, Into the Fray. Woven Mail provides damage resistance, which I think is roughly 30%, and it will also give you increased melee regeneration rate. Our class ability, paired with our aspect, the Lash one, shoots out 3 lashes which will suspend targets when hit. This comes from our exotic, Ambient Leap. Whatever. And furthermore, we also have one extra way to get Woven Mail, as suspending targets gives us that buff. Additionally, when you defeat suspended targets, you get class ability energy. Finally, your grenade will pop out threadlings similar to that of the Colony exotic heavy weapon that track targets and explode, dealing damage. Using your finisher will also create these threadlings with the Thread of Finality fragment. Now I know what you were thinking. Donkey, why the heck are you not using your frickin' grapple? Become the Strand Man and swing around Neomuna. Well, when I used it during the campaign, certain missions where there are a lot of open areas to fall off the map, I would actually find myself falling to my death and not being able to get back up. Even more than that, it is a little funky to control, and it's sometimes bugged out, dropping me mid-swing. I think it's a cool feature to use around the patrol area, or jumping puzzles, but I just don't think it's that efficient in in-game activities. Or maybe I just suck with it because I'm a terrible controller player to begin with. Well, who knows. For the mods, we simply have a bunch of various ability, cooldown, and regen mods that you will recognize from Year 5 in Witch Queen. But the one mod setup I really want to highlight are the Surge mods. These are basically Font of Might mods. However, the timer stacks up quite a lot. You can have up to 6 stacks with certain mod combos, and each stack has a timer of 10 seconds. So you can have up to a minute of boosted damage for your weapons, whereas in Year 5, you could get 17 seconds of boosted damage, but it costs you a ton of mod slots. Additionally, you can use different types of element mods, like a combo of both arc and solar if you're running 2 different weapon types. So overall, there are a ton of new changes, and all of us Guardians are trying to figure out the system and get used to this madhouse of a change. But I think in the long run, it will be really nice. So, to all of you 100 Titan Crayon Eaters out there playing Lightfall, I suggest you give this build a try. Swing your claws at all of your enemies like Wolverine, getting loads of ability energy back to back to back. And remember to pet your little threadlings and tell them how much they are loved. Well, Guardians, we have a lot more videos to make and tons of new content to discover. And let me know your thoughts of the new DLC down in the comments below. Until then, be sure to subscribe for free and follow along for more Destiny 2 content, and we will see you in the next one.